911, what is the address of your emergency?
Held at gunpoint and waiting for police to arrive, but an Austin man kept waiting and waiting this summer. His 911 call forgotten. The story prompted an Austin News investigation, which has now uncovered major problems with part of Austin's 911 system.
The computer-aided dispatch, known as CAD, has caused more than 100 problems in recent years. KXAN Sally Hernandez investigates the $1 million CAD system paid for with your taxpayer dollars.
Every Austin police officer out in the field has CAD in their patrol car. You've probably seen them accessing it through their laptop. Now, when it works, it can do a lot of things, like sends the closest police officer to the scene of the emergency within seconds. But sources inside APD tipped us off that CAD doesn't always work. And when it doesn't, it can literally mean the difference between life and death.
Austin 911.
When you call 911, you expect a speedy response.
Put the gun on my chest.
Mike Mohibi didn't get that.
Okay, and when did you call?
I called 25 minutes ago. They tied me and my son, and they put gun in our head.
Came towards the door.
On June 19th, several men robbed Mohibi and his teenage son, forcing them to the ground with a gun to their heads, using electric cords to tie their hands behind their backs.
With the gun in his hand like this, came towards me. I just closed my eyes. I said, probably he's going to shoot us and go.
For 20 minutes, they ransacked Mohibi's auto dealership in central Austin, looking for cash, took what they wanted, and left. Mohibi waited face down on the floor before getting up, reaching for scissors to free his hands, then his son's, and called 911.
Okay, you said that you got robbed?
Yes, I'm on gunpoint.
Okay, sir, one moment, okay? Let me get this started. It
Okay.
just happened right now?
I'm sorry?
It just happened?
Yeah, it just happened. I just, like 1 minute ago.
The call taker said help was on the way. Nearly 30 minutes passed, still no police. Fright turned to frustration, and Mohibi called 911 again.
Austin 911, you need police, fire, or EMS?
Yes, we were held up. I called half an hour. We see 10 policemen passing by our business, and nobody shows up.
Location, sir?
Mohibi says he couldn't believe what he heard next.
And you called 911?
I called 911, yes.
Okay.
Yes.
The reason I say is I'm not showing a call in for that. I'm going to go ahead and create one, though, right now, okay?
That's because CAD crashed. At 1:15 that afternoon, officers lost control of their mobile in-car CAD, notifying them of emergency calls. Because of that failure, this is what happened next. Call takers resorted to a pen and paper to take down the location of the hundreds of calls that came in. That lasted an hour before dispatchers switched to the backup CAD system until CAD was fully fixed 10 hours later. In the process, Mohibi's call was lost.
We were waiting and waiting and waiting and waiting.
During CAD's crash, Mohibi's was one of 758 emergency calls to police. The city says a hardware issue caused that failure and has been fixed. But during our investigation into Mohibi's lost call, CAD crashed again on October 27th, down for 8 hours. This time it was a software issue. The city's Paul Hoppengardner is responsible for keeping tabs on CAD. Do you think CAD is working the way it's supposed to be?
I definitely think CAD's working the way it's supposed to be.
Through several open records requests, we found out just in the past 2 years, different components of CAD have led to 114 of what the city calls impairments. Failures like field officers not being able to perform certain records checks through CAD. Crucial during traffic stops.
It is a very large system. You know, I wish I could say that every computer system was going to be 100%, but that's just not the way computers work.
But this is a very expensive computer. While CAD has been down less this year than in the past, this is the only year CAD has significantly failed, not once, but twice.
The training systems are available, and you know, we meet, as I said, hourly with the agencies to make sure that that they're not having issues and that they're technically capable of continuing to receive calls and dispatch them.
Right. But like you said, it's not the ideal thing, or else you wouldn't have CAD in the first place.
No, that's correct. It's not the ideal thing to anytime you have impaired service.
For Mohibi, that's more than just a close call.
The problem is if one of us were injured or somebody else was injured and bleeding, they would be dead by the time Second time we called, or the police showed up.
A supervisor with Austin's 911 center is quick to point out that during CAD's failure, they answered 97% of incoming calls in less than 10 seconds. But for Mike Mohibi, that wasn't enough, and he is now considering legal action. We'll let you know what happens, and we're also going to let you know if CAD crashes again. In the studio, I'm Sally Hernandez for KXAN Austin News Investigates.